By the way, just for your audience, I think it might be helpful. I always say this because people don't know this, where the term political correctness comes from. People think political correctness is, let's not be mean to people, let's not offend minorities, let's not make offensive jokes, blah, blah, blah. Never had anything to do with that. Political correctness was invented in the Soviet Union by communists so that they could say to critics of the communist regime, well, comrade, what you're saying may be factually correct, but it's politically incorrect, and therefore you should shut up. In other words, it's inconvenient to the party line of the day. And that's how political correctness is used always. It's about preventing you from expressing a dissenting opinion. So from 2016 onwards, you saw lots of that, especially on social media, because the kind of progressive left had a lock on all of those institutions. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, we can go down the full list. They pandered. I'm not saying the people who ran them were themselves necessarily woke, but they pandered and appeased that fringe, who said, you can't say that, that's hate speech, you can't say that, that's blah, blah, blah. And during the pandemic, we saw real restrictions on it. I understand why. The pandemic killed a hell of a lot of people. There was a hell of a lot of lies being told by people of all different sides. I was uncomfortable with the level of censorship we saw, though. I thought that a lot of very reasonable things were prevented from being talked about. One of them was where the virus came from. We now know with almost certainly it came from a lab in China due to almost certainly gain-of-function research. Matt Ridley, for example, he's in the House of Lords in the UK, so he's not some fringe random guy. Wrote a whole book with a Chinese scientist, Alina Chan, I think her name is. We've had him on the show to talk about this. If you'd said that on social media in the early days of the pandemic, you would have been banned. Now we know that's almost certainly what happened, and it's really important where the virus came from, for obvious reasons, which is if it came from a lab where these people were messing around with viruses, don't we want to know that? Because it could happen again, right? So the restriction of free speech is dangerous.